Farm attacks and farm murders is now almost a daily occurrence in South Africa. Government does not show much interest in combating this evil activity. Some politicians instigate the behavior publicly, aggravating the situation even more. It's a political war with little positive outcome, leaving farmers to fend for themselves. Action is reactive and generally a cleanup of a gruesome scene. We have to do more. We need to become more proactive and provide farmers with means to detect coming danger and to defend themselves better. This video is about one way we can improve vigilance amongst farmers and perhaps buy time for them to react promptly to safeguard themselves.
Hi there, Camelion Bezuidenhout here. I'm an engineer, but I'm also a farmer. Now, during the last decade and a half, I've developed numerous products in agriculture, more specifically in the hydroponics field. And I made these devices and machines available to farmers, and I still am. I live to make a positive difference. I started off by inventing the systems and products, using it myself to prove that it works, improved it, and eventually started marketing world-class hydroponic systems and a few other products. I'm proficient in product development. I've been doing it for a long time. At the moment, I'm developing something new, something with a very good cause that has the ability to make a massive difference in farmer security. Please allow me to show you what this development is all about.
Many of my hydroponic systems are installed in and around South Africa. I work closely with farmers, basically on a daily basis. They are really good people and they work hard to make sure that we all have food on our tables. Without them, South Africa will be in really big trouble. They are at risk. Farm attacks and farm murders have been increasing dramatically over the last decade. And it is at critical stage, influencing all of us. Farmers have families, just like you and me. This is my family. We also stay on a farm. In 2014, one Saturday afternoon, we also experienced an incident where several armed people stormed down on us. We didn't know what was happening. I can still hear the anxiety screams. I know how it feels when you have to throw your wife and children into the house to get behind the security gate, and to put a shotgun in your wife's hand and tell her to shoot anything that comes through a door, and then to leave her and 2 children to go and face the danger to find your 3rd child who is still outside somewhere. Believe me, you don't want to be in this situation. We were fortunate. I got an early warning and I could react quickly enough to protect us. When my daughter heard the shots, she went into hiding. Clever girl. Thousands of farmers' families have not been so lucky. They got tortured, raped and murdered. If only they had an early warning. Finding a way to give farmers an early warning is my mission in this project. A few years ago, we found a chameleon on one of our hydroponic systems. The little reptile fascinated us, especially his eye. It's amazing to see how the eye can move in so many directions. A chameleon has 360-degree all-round vision. Chameleon eyes inspired me to develop cameras that work on the same principle. I'm now developing Camelian cameras primarily for farmers and for their security. Now, I know there are many cameras out there and I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to develop a camera that is specifically designed and tailor-made for giving farmers pre-warning. And at the same time, it must also be useful for other functions, such as aiding in stock theft prevention. To develop the cameras, I had to equip myself with the required skills, tools, infrastructure and machines. I'm a mechanical engineer by qualification with 25 years experience in both mechanical and electrical engineering. Cameras and robotics are very electronic, so for the last 10 years I had to get myself up to date with electronics and electronic engineering. I have all the skills required for this kind of development. I know there are many cameras out there. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Instead, I'm combining existing base technologies into a package that I'm housing in a robotic camera frame. I then program and configure this camera and its application packages to perform functions which I know is required to achieve the goals to pre-warn our farmers and to enable them to protect themselves and their assets. I already developed a few camera models. At this stage, I'm busy with model number 4. The prototyping has been done and I'm still busy with a few improvements. I will continuously improve in time to come as I learn and as new technologies becomes available. The programming is about 80% complete. To get to this stage was a colossal task. It's a very complex development. There is great interest from farmers on the cameras and its capabilities. They see the benefits to their own security. And here are the prototypes and working R&D models for the first 3 camera models. The final cameras will be much more robust. These units are only used for the initial development testing. The MacGyver Cam is just a short distance motion detection camera that is mainly intended for preventing stock theft and identifying thieves. It was my first attempt in achieving motion detection through program logarithm instead of using a physical motion sensor. This enables the camera to detect motion far away. The Meerkat Cam was the predecessor of the Camelion Cam, which I mainly used for programming and testing the microprocessors and app programs. The Camelion camera is the main development camera and the only model I intend to make available. The next version Camelion camera have 2 cameras and night vision built into it. Note, Camelion is spelled wrong intentionally because it's a trademark name. The next steps are to finish the programming and to set up our workshop for manufacturing. I intend to manufacture the cameras using metal casting, resin casting and 3D printing techniques. The electronics will be manufactured on contract and the lenses are imported from a leading lens manufacturing company. My focus will be on manufacturing, assembly, programming, installations, training, supporting and continuous improvement. I want to give our farmers fit for purpose cameras at an affordable price. Specialized cameras out there in the market is extremely expensive. My target is to manufacture these cameras and make it available below the 10,000 Rand mark. Industrial cameras with almost the same features sells easily for 10 times as much, as you can recall from the cameras Eskom had to install to combat sabotage. To protect our farmers and their families, there are basically 4 main factors that needs to be addressed. I don't want to wander into politics, but there are problems that government and political parties have to resolve as a priority. The instigation of farm attacks have to stop immediately, and we have to put pressure on them to do so. Nobody should have the right to say kill someone else in public. Nobody has the right to say kill the boer, kill the farmer. Personal safety is a basic human right, and this should not be negotiable. Our farmers are major tax contributors and role players in our economy. After all, they keep us alive because we still have food on our tables. Farmers deserve personal safety and to be protected. Farmers must be vigilant and prepared, and should an incident occur, they have to react quickly and perhaps need some means of repelling the attackers. Easier said than done, because farm attacks still happens daily. We can definitely help with the cameras by equipping farmers with technology that can improve vigilance and to give them warning so that they can be better prepared and have enough time to call for help and react quickly enough to protect themselves and their families and maybe even repel the attackers. If we don't do something, we will all share in the pain, except for the tragedies that plays off during farm attacks. These incidents influence food prices because the affected farms goes out of production for a long time. Jobs are affected. Farm attackers are placing our food security at risk, and the instigators even more so. Have you noticed how food prices have been increasing the last few years? Guess why? Who is to blame? The police can't be everywhere. We have to equip our farmers to protect themselves. AI, or artificial intelligence, is something we nowadays use extensively in the newest camera technologies. It goes hand in hand with robotics. It basically means that we write logarithms into the software of our cameras to make the cameras smart and to do what we want them to do. In other words, we enable the cameras to do clever tasks like repeating what we show them to do. AI is extensively used in this project. With AI, the cameras can recognize objects and faces. It can count objects, it can isolate objects, and make alarm when it spots certain objects that we teach it to spot. It can also detect motion and change. It can do patrols for us, and it can manipulate photos and videos. These are all critically important features we require if we employ cameras for the purpose of protecting our farmers. The Camelion cameras will be operated in a few different methods, depending on what the farmer intends to do. Basic camera movement is done through cell phone movements. By tilting or turning your cell phone, the camera will follow. The camera can also be moved by tapping on an area on a satellite photo that you want to view. Obviously, it requires some setup for every farmer's situation. I will post a video on YouTube to explain all operation and setup procedures, but we will definitely also assist with the setup where required. Note that the farmer can install more than one camera. So far, the Camelion app has been programmed to accommodate up to 6 cameras, but since I'm the app creator, we can accommodate as many cameras as may be required. The Camelion cameras are basically robots similar to the robots you will see in a car factory, like Tesla or Toyota. Just like the technician trained the robots in a car factory, the user or the farmer is also able to train the Camelion robots simply by doing an activity once while the software records the activity. After saving the activity, the robot or the camera can then repeat the same steps to perform a certain function. It's all done via the Camelion cell phone app. Many activities can be saved to be repeated whenever the farmer requires it, and a patrol sequence can be set up to combine activities. The plan is to take one of our Camelion Model 2 or later cameras and to mount it on a long mast or supported pole of, let's say, at least 12 meters, as close as possible to the farmhouse or the area that needs to be protected. The cameras can be placed on any mast in case the farmer already have his own mast or tower. Many do for radios and internet. The Camelion 2 cameras have a short range and long-range camera in for daytime patrols. It also have a night vision camera in for nighttime patrols. The cameras have all the robotics, AI intelligence, and features built into it that we identified is necessary to protect farmers and their assets. It's a fully robotic TPZ camera. TPZ means tilt, pan, and zoom, so it can move like the eye of a chameleon and also zoom in. It also have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in. It's what we call an IP camera, so it can be connected to an existing Wi-Fi network. It can also create its own local Wi-Fi network and serve as an access point so that you can connect directly to it with either your phone or your smart television. I'm currently developing, or let's rather say compiling, a computing Android device that can make your television smart. All you will then need is an HDMI port on your television. I already developed a device that can extend the Wi-Fi network coverage up to 200 meters line of sight. The television is required to view the camera footage. The footage can be recorded and stored. A cheap 3,000 Rand flat screen TV will do the trick. The farmer will be able to operate the camera from his television, but using a smart Android phone to control the camera in combination with the television will yield the best results. The farmer will be able to program or set up the camera with his or her smartphone using the Camelion app. The cameras can do many things, like doing area inspections. The long-range camera can do area inspections of a few kilometers in radius. The short-range cameras can do short-distance inspections. The night vision cameras can do nighttime patrols, so 24-hour inspections can be performed. The cameras can perform an inspection every few minutes. Inspection time depends on how the camera is set up. Pan angle on the camera is unlimited. It goes round and round. Tilt varies between the models. It is more than one required for the purpose of securing farms, generally between 100 and 150 degrees. The cameras are robotic and programmable, so it can follow an inspection path that can be set up using the Camelion app. So the farmer don't have to operate the camera all the time. It will inspect what the farmer instructed to inspect. The desired output will be a 360-degree panoramic photo of each inspection level that the camera is set on every few minutes. Every time the camera pans 360 degrees, the farmer will receive a fresh panorama photo on either his phone or his television, whichever is connected to the camera. Depending on the size and layout of the farm, a farmer might be able to see his whole farm every few minutes. The camera also have video and a few other modes, so the user will be able to see the areas that the camera is set to inspect if the panoramic view is not required. There can also be a combination of views. The cameras can stream video, like HD or VGA, take photos, create the panorama you just saw, and take time-lapse shots. This is a screenshot of a Camelion long-range camera streaming video through a web browser. Nothing fancy. This video was taken with the smallest 2 megapixel camera on a misty day, so it's not supposed to be very high quality. At 2.5 kilometers at the trees, cattle can still be seen and counted, and humans can still be seen. What I'm trying to demonstrate here is that with the smallest and the most affordable camera, an area of 500 hectares can conveniently be patrolled. That is 6 times bigger than my farm. With a 5 megapixel camera, we can patrol an area as large as 1000 hectares. And if we really want to, we can push the pixels to a maximum to get maximum digital zoom. The zoom in the photo is 18 times optical and 4 times digital, giving us a total zoom of 72 times. With a 5 megapixel camera, we can double that, and we can install even higher resolution cameras. The sky is the limit, but the trick here is to get the optimal balance between performance and cost. So the previous photo was taken with the long range camera, and this photo was taken with the short range camera, both mounted in the same Camelion cam. There are the trees at the yellow rectangle. The rectangle shows the level of zoom I can achieve with just a 2 megapixel camera. In this short range photo, which is basically representing the naked eye, it is really difficult to see the cattle and you will never see humans. Take note, this is just the beginning. Think where the technology will be in a few years from now. My mission is to combine the right hardware for our farming purposes and to integrate them all into one Camelion camera package. And I will also offer options for different applications. When we look into a field, we can spot objects. To spot objects, our human brain identifies sudden change in color. An area of a different color to the environment represents a shape. When a camera takes a photo, an Android application can process that photo in the same way that our human brain does. It can identify a sudden change in color. A group of color pixels represents a shape. If a photo is taken a few seconds later, and that shape is then in a different position from the previous photo, there must have been movement. Human shapes and animal shapes are different. By applying these basic principles in the Camelion app, it can identify that there is something out of the ordinary. It can estimate the size and the shape, proportion, and resultingly identify the most likely shape and therefore distinguish between animals, vehicles, and humans. It can confirm a shape with known colors, and then it can also identify movements. These features are programmed into the Camelion cameras and its application software. Except for their own security, farmers are also peppered with stock theft and all kinds of other illegal activities on the farms. Once again, how does it influence us? Well, this influences meat prices incredibly. You pay more for meat than what you would have paid if stock theft was under control. It is affecting all of us, and it's another reason why food prices have climbed so much over the last decade. Every citizen in South Africa is paying more for criminal activities on farms. If you can't afford meat anymore, this is why. The Camelion cameras can be employed to provide a watchful eye on stock over and above the normal routine inspections. How? If the cameras can identify objects, it can also count it. I'm currently developing the software to count animals. The camera should be able to count stock as long as the environment in which they graze meet certain conditions. Counting conditions obviously depends on visibility. The cameras won't be able to count animals behind trees, but it will be able to count animals in open visible fields. Counting won't always be 100% accurate because some animals will hide behind others, but if the camera count over time, a more accurate average can be obtained. The important thing here is that we want to detect change on the farm, and we want to know when that change occurs. Counting stock can become a life-saving feature. In some cases, farm businesses go completely bankrupt because of theft. I was a victim myself at one stage where all my cattle were stolen on a Christmas day. I was fortunate to get them back, but how many farmers don't? Both tilt and pan can be controlled within 0.2 degree accuracy. The Camelion cameras can be trained to follow an inspection path. So, if there are critical or risky areas that needs to be inspected or watched more frequently, the cameras can be set to do those inspections for you. The cameras can, for instance, also be set to patrol problematic areas like a road or a rail line more frequently. To train or set the cameras is a very simple procedure. The user simply tap on the inspection points on the map and enter the duration that each point should be inspected. The farmer will be able to set up patrol areas and save it. He can then combine patrol areas for a specific day. This way, the camera can focus inspections on critical areas where inspection will be required for the day. This feature comes in very handy with stock theft prevention. For example, let's say the farmer's cattle will graze in Camp 6 for the day. The farmer can then set up the camera to focus on the homestead and on Camp 6. The biggest challenge so far was to enable farmers to see at night with the Camelion camera. This is when most farm attacks take place. Night vision is critical and it is required. The Model 2 Camelion camera will be fitted with a dedicated Starlight camera module. So the Camelion Cam Model 2s will have 3 cameras in total. For our purpose, Starlight camera technology is superior to infrared technology. It's more expensive because the technology is more advanced, but it is better. I'm considering thermal imaging camera modules as an option, but the modules are very expensive, starting at $2,000. The video footage shown here is taken by the technology I anticipate to use. It's reasonably expensive technology, but it is the best value for money that I could find. And it is much cheaper than a $2,000 thermal camera. Night vision comes in very handy to detect people and animals during night time. It has great potential to pre-warn farmers and to combat stock theft. Night vision cameras do have their limitations, so our primary objective is to patrol the homestead at night. Anything else we can achieve is a bonus. The night vision camera is housed in the same camera body, so it will rotate and move and will be programmable with the rest of the camera, and therefore all the movement and patrolling features will be available at night as well. As farmers, we face field fires every year, especially during winter and spring. Having to combat at least 3 field fires every year in just our direct vicinity is nothing new. I've been doing it for the last 15 years. Field fires devastate grazing fields and often even crops and livestock. It's costing South Africa billions of rands of damage every year. It's also causing a significant impact on the CO2 levels in the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Quick detection and reaction to field fires is critically important. Having a watchful eye on a tower in the form of a Camelion camera patrolling the surroundings and able to detect the color of fire and smoke can make a massive difference in reaction time and the amount of damage farmers face every year. Even insurance companies will gain enormously with this development. After this week's fires in the bushveld, where all the wild animals died, it became even more evident that we have to put this kind of control measure in place. Plantation fires are even more devastating and even more difficult to get under control. If only the fires could be detected quick enough, it can still be extinguished in manageable time frame. Think about it. If a plantation burns down, all the CO2 that the trees have been storing in decades of growth are being emitted back into the atmosphere. This is detrimental to our atmosphere and to us. When will our atmosphere go into a slippery slope where there will be a point of no return? We have to do everything we can to prevent this. During dry months, me and my family almost never visit friends and family because we are too scared that a fire can break out and devastate our farm. This is the case with most farmers, and it brings us to the next point. The cameras will be useful in managing farm activities. What happens when the farmer is not on the farm? If the farmer has GSM Wi-Fi or a fixed IP address and a fast enough internet connection, he will be able to view activities on his farm through his cell phone. Profitability improves with better supervision. The camera and its controllers have over-the-air updating, which means that as we improve the software and add more useful features to it, it can be updated if the camera is connected to the internet. We will continuously improve, so this is an important feature. I don't want any clients to miss out on new, exciting features. The cameras moves a lot during patrols and resultingly they will wear out over time. I will offer a repair service to clients to keep running costs as low as possible. The cameras will be manufactured from a variety of materials. At first, we will focus on using composite materials, but I definitely want to set up a casting facility to make the cameras from aluminium alloy, which will then be anodized. The aluminium alloy will give us the durability we require since the camera will be operating in outdoor environments. The driving force behind the development is to protect our farmers. I mean, they are tailor-made and designed to specifically cater for farming needs. It will be available to industry and security companies and basically anyone who has similar needs. Many people ask me, so when will this camera be available and when can we buy it? My best answer to that is in about 2 million rands time. That is about 110,000 US. It is expensive and time consuming to develop the cameras. So it depends on how quickly I can make 2 million rand from my hydroponic business. And that is probably going to take 10 years because the hydroponic market in South Africa is very limited. Funding will speed up the process considerably. With sufficient funding, manufacturing can start within 6 months from now. Statistically, our farmers are actually at war. We need to do something proactive to improve their safety. If we can save just one life with the Camelion cameras, all effort is worth the while. Development and engineering is expensive. It costed millions to develop the hydroponic systems. The hydroponic systems were also developed for a good cause, for food security, business, and job creation. They are working out there, doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, I need to make the Camelion cameras go work out there. Why don't I reach out to investors? Investors expect a return on investment. adding to the cost of the cameras. The whole idea behind this project is to provide affordable security to farmers. So, if I go the investor's route, these cameras will become more expensive because everybody wants a piece of the pie, which is fair, but who pays for the pie at the end of the day? The farmers. Think about it like this. If you have use for this technology and you support me with, let's say, R1,000, and I get enough support and is able to supply the cameras at, let's say, R10,000, while the cameras will cost R50,000 if I go the investment route, then you save R39,000. That's 50 minus 10 minus R1,000. Working together pays off. We all gain from this development. Let's keep the price to a minimum. Reaching out to potential investors also takes time because they want to assess every single risk, and investment is not guaranteed. Let's just do it. To get this project to implementation, I need to appoint a few people to assist me with the final developments so that we can get it done quicker, and I need to set up the production facility and appoint the relevant staff to assist with manufacturing, installation, and support. I'm a bit stuck at this stage and need support because I won't be able to execute the project on my own. I've already spent 6 months on the project on my own account and financed all development up to now. I need your support to take this project forward. I don't want donations, but rather want to sell my time and engineering expertise to continue and finalize the development. The development is a service that I'm providing to everybody in the country because farm attacks, stock theft, and field fires affects everybody. If you believe in this cause, please visit my website at growmachines.co.za and buy some development time for this project. The link is down in the description below. And I thank you upfront for your contribution and support. Teamwork can make anything possible. There are other ways that you can also contribute. I invented a very nice fly control system. I call it the Venus fly trap. Now, it's a little device that you screw onto an empty 2-liter Coke bottle. And all you have to do is to fill the bottle 1/3 with water and add an egg using a funnel and then close it with the old cap and shake it and then screw on the Venus fly trap and hang it on a tree or wherever you want to, and it will immediately start attracting flies. Catch them for you and control the flies for you. If you are a farmer, hang it close to your livestock and control the flies at source. These fly control systems are 3D printed. It takes about 3 hours to print one, so it is a bit expensive, but the price is competitive with fly control systems out there. Remember, a major portion of this money will go to the Camelion camera development. Happy fly catching. Now, we all have flies and we all have mice and rats. If you have a rat or a mouse problem, please consider buying our Ratatouille rat trap. The trap can catch many mice or rats. Simply screw it onto an old mayonnaise or a Koo beetroot bottle. Fill it with bait. You can use peanut butter and sunflower seed, which works excellently as a bait, and place it, and you are ready to start catching
mice, and rats. The ratatouille traps are also 3D printed, and it takes about 10 hours to print. So depending on the order volume, there might be a lead time. Once again, the money will go for the camera development.
Okay, now sweat.
She truly is a creature of the wild. Yes, indeed she is. And this...
If you want to become self-sustainable and grow your own quality vegetables, herbs, and fruits hydroponically, please consider buying a home hydroponic system from us. To date, I provided personal training, but I will soon also post training videos on the website, growmachines.coza. I'm forced to do this because I need the time to finish the camera developments. If you are interested in hydroponics, have a look at our gallery on the website and see all the amazing informative photos. Every hydroponic system I sell contributes towards this Camelion project. Go check out our website and save it under your favorites, because we launch all kinds of interesting products and apps and promotions in support of the Camelion Farmer Project. We also do solar systems at very reasonable prices and only charge for labor and expenses. We don't put any markup on the equipment. Let's make a positive difference. I thank you.
All honor goes to our Lord, who inspires and makes the way.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. And they say, Waymaker, miracle worker.